Alright, I am back with another Destiny 2 video, this time talking about how crazy Stasis has gotten in sort of unexpected ways here. This is thankfully mostly a PvE thing, and they found ways to make Stasis cool and fun again, cool, no pun intended, without totally ruining PvP, although we have sort of seen it rising over there too. But a lot of the stuff they've added, namely a new weapon and some new stasis mods, have resulted in some pretty crazy builds that you can do. I'm sure you've seen other content creators make these. This is more generalized. This isn't necessarily for one specific class, but I have it on my Warlock here because these the new effects do things for kind of all classes with shared grenades and shared shard behavior, shatter behavior, that kind of stuff. So you can run some version of this build on most characters. I'm just choosing to use my Warlock here because I think Warlock is really good for PvE stuff with Stasis, and my Hunter is all decked out in Iron Banner stuff, and I don't want to change it around. And Titan is still not the best in PvE, so with Stasis. So, okay, so we'll start with the kind of core foundation of this, which is Ager Scepter with the Catalyst. This is a really insane stasis weapon in the sense that the other two that we've had, the Cryoclasm, is that what it's called? Whatever, it like, you kill something and then you can do one shot to freeze one enemy, and then the, whatever the frickin' ice launcher thing is that I don't even remember the name of because it's so obscure and no one ever uses it. This is the complete opposite of that, where it is nutty in every possible way. You kill an enemy with it, and then it creates a slowing field around that enemy, which will slow and quickly freeze all the enemies within a pretty wide radius. So then you can shatter them, and then trigger all your stasis effects on those slows or shatters. The Catalyst, which we will go into later, is one of the more insane catalysts I've seen on any weapon, where it is essentially a super for the gun, where you hold down reload and then it will activate into a kind of super beam, which has the ability to manually freeze targets by itself without an effect. It will increase its damage, and it'll just drain your super over time after overloading the magazine. So either it will stop when you run out of super energy or you run out of ammo. The catch here is that this pairs exceedingly well with Whisper of Bonds, because it says defeating frozen targets grants you super energy. So you can constantly be refilling your super meter as you use that weapon, so you will not actually run out of super very often unless you kind of run out of targets to shoot, in which case it's probably okay for it to be over. And you can also pause it like midway through to retain some of your super. It's not like it will automatically drain all your super, so it will get you the effect that you need without having to kind of just spend your entire super in every instance. So the other things that I'm pairing with this, Whisper of Hedrons, so this is just increase all your stats essentially after you freeze a target. The Stasis, which happens frequently with this weapon, so this will essentially always be active. This is Whisper of Fissures, which increases the damage and size and burst of stasis crystals when you defeat a frozen target or a crystal. With a lot of frozen targets, this is useful. And then Whisper of Rime, so collecting a stasis shard grants a small amount of overshield which falls off after 10 seconds, and this can stack. And it got nerfed a little bit, but it's still really good, especially in PvE. And then we have Glacial Harvest, where freezing creates stasis shards around the frozen targets. Higher tier combatants create more shards. So this is important for a few reasons. It works off of this for the overshield, and for something I will get into soon. Then I have Bleak Watcher, the stasis turret, that you just let loose and it freezes enemies while you're off doing other things, and it's triggering all these bonuses too. So generally speaking, you can see, so my resilience is nothing. I've lost a lot of stats because this is minus 30 stats between these two. So your stats aren't going to look the most impressive here. Intellect is very low in this build. I went for Discipline to kind of have as many turrets as possible, and then always max recovery on Warlocks. So that is how your stats may look. I'm sure there's a way to better optimize this, but this is good for now. Other weapons are kind of just whatever. I have a Shuria's here, just that you can kind of quickly add clear if things are more close to you, but you can obviously use that for this. The other thing I usually use is Contingency Plan for longer range stuff, or a bow. Reed's Regrets. This is just a great DPS weapon now. You can use Ascendancy, whatever you want in the heavy. It's not that important. So the actual armor is where things get even more interesting here. So we have Mantle of Battle Harmony. This is not masterworked yet, but because I don't think I have that good of a one. I think this is 64. I don't know. It's okay. So the thing here is now, this is really good when paired with Ager's because we are now in the damage type matching thing, and this got a recent buff. So takedowns with weapons that have a damage type matching your subclass grant you super energy. So this stacks with the Whisper of Hedrons, or Whisper of Bonds, whatever the super one is. So that will ramp up your super pretty quickly, which is why low intellect doesn't really matter. And then while your super energy is full, you gain a bonus to weapon damage of the type matching your subclass element. So that would be Stasis, so that would increase the damage of this, and that stacks with the super mode that you use on the Catalyst. So a lot of utility there in one piece of exotic armor. Here I have Ammo Finder because you will be lacking ammo for this quite a bit. And then, so this is one of the new mods, Well of Restoration. Picking up a Stasis Elemental Well grants you additional energy for your ability that has the lowest energy. Multiple copies of this mod increase this effect. So at baseline, Elemental Wells already grant you ability energy to your lowest energy thing, but this kind of makes it even increased. And then I have another copy of this here, where picking up, it's the same thing. So this stacks twice, so it's giving me a lot of bonus energy. I have other Stasis mods just for fun, so when you, these two stack, so when you use your Rift, it will combine, theoretically, if you do this at the same time, if you get an Elemental Well, you'll get a big boost, and this is more Rifts more often. Here, wait, I already did this one, okay. Okay, Elemental Armaments, so this will spawn an actual Stasis Well as you kind of go through your... if you just get a lot of kills on Ager's Scepter, it will eventually spawn an actual Stasis Well. This one, an Orb of Power, gives you energy to your least ability again, so this stacks with the other ones. And since this is Masterwork, you are creating orbs with this. And then I forgot to do this mod. This is also one of the new mods where Stasis Shards count as Stasis Elemental Wells for you. It does not apply in PvP modes. So this means you essentially always have a Stasis Well whenever you need it, because you are spawning shards, so many shards, all of the time with Ager Scepter freezes because of this Glacial Harvest, which creates Stasis Shards on freezing. The catch here is that there is a cooldown, so it's a pretty long cooldown. I think it's at least 10 seconds, so you can't just spam this over and over and over again, but it does mean that you will pretty much always have the Stasis Well effects running. Here, I have Font of Might on, where if you pick up a well, it will give you a bonus to the weapon damage type. I think this stacks with the Mantle of Battle Harmony bonus. If not, I need to investigate that further, but you could change it to Font of Wisdom to give you a higher intellect to make up for the low intellect I have. And then I have Trace Rifle Reloader, because I am using that all of the time. So all of this combines for a pretty nutty Stasis build where the damage you can do theoretically on output for this, even against champions where you are not equipped to beat them down normally with an actual stunning mod, it's still just so much damage that it doesn't even matter. So I'm going to need some more ammo for this to get this to work. And alright, we're getting there. But this is just Shattered Realm, so this isn't terribly difficult content or anything. I just sort of want to show you all the different effects that will be in place here for this. So put down my turret, and I'm freezing things, I'm getting wells, and you can see I already just jumped up a huge amount. I have half my grenade back, and it's been 3 seconds. So this will just keep happening. And you can see it's every time I pick up an actual well, it happens. Every time I pick up a Stasis Shatter Crystal, it happens. It is pretty nutty. So before I get too low on ammo here, I can activate the super mode. So it'll start draining my super, but look how much I'm getting back every time I kill an enemy. So I'm only going to stop this because I run out of ammo or I run out of enemies, or it takes too long to spawn them. But the damage here is pretty out of control, I would say. My super essentially, I'm at 2/3 this entire time, and the only reason it's getting shorter is because I'm running out of enemies to shoot. So I'm going to turn it off for now because it's just taking so long. Should put another Stasis turret down. And pretty soon I am going to run out of ammo here, so I'll probably switch to Shuria's just to try and get some drops. Ammo Finder is not always the best of finding ammo. Here's some. I probably should have a mod that gives you more than 40 ammo per per brick, but what are you gonna do? So I'll put the well down. So I already have, what, a quarter of the well back the instant I put it down because of those other mods. And you can put the one on that gives you elemental wells on melee kills too, if you want that. It's just another kind of more guaranteed way to get them. Alright, I'm going to get murdered by these ogres. Nope, shoot the other way. Okay. So he's frozen. He's frozen. And yeah. So, see, I already have super again. Like, you're able to just kind of recall and use that whenever you feel like it. Alright, so let's see. Let's see how this goes. So, this is just all of these things stacking at once. This is an unstoppable ogre that didn't get stunned ever. And you know how much health those have. Like, even at this difficulty level, those have an absolute ton of health. So clearly, like, this is doing some good work here. So that is kind of the gist of it. You get a ton of damage on Agers. You get a ton of crowd clear for normal enemies. It can do high single target damage when you activate the super. And all you know, look at my super bar. That's all it went down to when I killed that entire champion. So I can easily get it back up again with a few more kills. Your only real limitations are ammo. So maybe I should be speccing into more ammo mods. And maybe I don't need all the discipline mods that I have, just given that I'm getting my grenade back through all these other abilities. So this is pretty wild. And like, again, you can do this on any of the classes. This is not really specific to Warlock because anyone can use Agers. The difference with Warlock is the Glacial Harvest. So like, I think one of the other classes has this. I forget which one. But there are different ways to spawn Stasis shards, so you can use this mod with other classes if you want. Like each class has a bunch of different ways to use these and to spawn these. So I think it works on all of them. I haven't gone down the rabbit hole on the other two fully, but I know there's especially really good hunter builds for this because that class spawns shards all the time with the throwing knife ice things. So this is just a ton of fun. My only complaint is that Mantle Battle Harmony needs an ornament because I don't like this. But besides that, in terms of actual gameplay, this is one of the most fun builds I've seen in an extremely long time. Which is saying a lot, partially due to how well designed Ager's is, partially how well it synergizes with Shadebinder or just Stasis in general, and then partially because of these new mods. And this gives me hope specifically that once like Void and stuff gets a rework, like you could see them making an exotic Void weapon that triggers, you know, X, Y, and Z Void abilities and pairs with your aspects and fragments here. Like there's pretty much nothing in the game that works to this extent right now, which is why Ager's is such a unique weapon. The other Stasis weapons could, but they're so bad, like, they're not even in the same league, and there's no reason you would ever use them over Ager's. So it's just a really interesting situation that gives me a lot of hope for how wild the future of PvE could be once they kind of do all these subclass reworks and then start integrating those both into the mods and into the weapons themselves, and into exotic armor, theoretically, too. So anyway, I highly recommend checking this out. Get the Catalyst. It's not like 100% essential, but like you saw what the Catalyst can do. It's pretty insane. So farm Astral for, I don't know, 30 runs. I got it in my first run, so apologies. But I'm gonna keep fine tuning this. Again, I don't think I need maybe all the discipline mods I'm doing based on how fast you get everything back. So we'll see if I can maybe switch that over into more ammo finders or things like that. And it's probably just time to masterwork this because why not? And then I can put some extra stuff on there. But anyway, that's my build here. Similar to a lot of people's builds, I'm sure, but try it out for yourself and give it a roll. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.
That's the last beacon. Sibo Orof's forces are converging on the area.